Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Chrissy. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't noticed here in the US, like why a lot of people are quitting their jobs during the 2021 year, and that there is statistics out there, and that I was able to look into like why people have quit their jobs during 2021, and that what they have learned and their advice to others. And these are like the 3 stories that I did find. And let's get into it. So the first person was Rena S., who lives in New York, and she had to quit her job as a product marketing lead in July of 2021. And here's her story on why she quit. And she said, after 18 months of working nonstop at a company that was going public, she was burnt out. I was burnt out. My social life diminished as we had a shelter in place, and I went into overdrive with work. My mental health suffered. She did see a doctor in April 2021. When her doctor had asked her how she was doing, she broke down. She had stated that along with the lines of her doctor had said something along the lines of, "Your job is sucking the life out of you," and if she had continued down the route, it would be a total mental and physical drain. That her being 37 and trying to freeze her eggs, she's having to make a very conscious decision on what to do with her health and future. She also does state that she does have a family history of heart disease and diabetes, which can be brought more on with the ongoing stress. She had to come to terms with the idea of having no job, and idea of that no job is ever worth your life. That's when she started to plan her exit. She decided to leave New York, see family, and spend some time alone. So she ended up quitting her job in July of 2021. She says the hardest thing about quitting her job was the emotional moment to deliver the notice to her boss. She was very understanding and knew that she was doing it for her health, and that her HR department offered her that she could take some medical leave, but she didn't think it would make a huge difference overall because she would be coming back to the same work environment. And that the biggest lesson she did learn was that she did travel to Hawaii and Europe after leaving, and that those trips did help her relax, self-reflect. But while taking the trips was nice, it was only a momentary escape. You still have to deal with the root cause of your mental health issues. As her time away wound down, she had to start thinking deeper in terms of what she really wanted for herself. And her advice to people planning to quit is make sure you are quitting for the right reasons. It took her a long time to figure that out, to think about the decision and financial consequences for yourself and your family, weigh the pros and cons. Also seeking help as soon as you can, especially in the Asian American community. She feels like there's such a stigma around seeking mental health help, and that what she plans on doing next is that career-wise, she's back in New York, taking time to explore options. Burnout has hurt her, and a lot of times even during that whatever organization that she goes back into, I have to be very clear on what goals and expectations that she set for herself. Personally, she's creating a plan to freeze her eggs in early 2022. The second person would be Gonzale S., who lives in Oak Park, California. She quit her job as an analytical manager in July of 2021. And that before quitting, her quitting story, she did stay before 2020. Her life was an autopilot. Every day she would take her 11-year-old son ready for school, prepare meals, commute to work, network with colleagues, did her actual work, and then rush to bring her son home. She didn't have time to think. With remote work she stated that she had 4 hours back to herself every day. She started thinking about building a company. She wanted to launch a website that would give personal recommendations for how people planning to move. And then by October 2020, she hired contractors from Fiverr and Upwork to help put the first version of her website, Dalwalks, on the market. And that the spring of 2021, she heard her company was planning to bring everyone back to the office in July. She took it as a sign. I gave my notice on June 1st, and then my last day was July 2nd. And she said the hardest thing about quitting was that she always associated herself with that job, and that being in a corporate environment. She says, suddenly the day after she quitted, I had no title, no salary, my new business didn't have a name yet. It was like moving from a nice house to an empty lot, starting to build from the foundation up. where you hope that at some point when you build with a bigger than the house you once had, and that the lesson she learned was that she was able to learn more about herself, and that in 2020 she was able to connect with herself and what makes her happy. I didn't want to disconnect, and I had a freedom to choose how I spent time with. And that her advice to people planning to quit is that understand what work environment you like best before you quit, especially if you are starting your own business, and have a plan for your life and future jobs for at least the next 6 months. And that she did bring her first client in December 2021. We'll be bringing revenue soon. And then the third person is Stephanie Becker, 22, who lives in Phoenix, Arizona, and she quit her job as a dog boarding facility in June 2021. And that her story was that she lost her retail job during the pandemic and was out of work for a year. And then by the spring of 2021, she saw a ton of job openings. She got hired at a dog boarding and daycare facility. But the work was getting way too stressful. She agreed to work the day shift, but instead got assigned to start at 4:30 in the morning. She didn't get along with her boss. She had asked to work outside and had to stop her job description, and then her uncle did get COVID. She had asked off work to help take care of him, but was denied. And that every day after work, she would get in her car, break down, and cry. She didn't want to do it anymore, and after 2 weeks, she did give notice. And that she said the hardest thing about quitting was deciding where to work next. It was so difficult for when she was on unemployment the year prior to the day after she quit. She had 2 job interviews lined up. She didn't want to rush into another job and have the same problem as before, but it was hard finding a company that actually cares for its workers, has benefits, and doesn't underpay. It took her about a month to find a good job that she did want. And what she would do over is that during the interview process, I like to check employee review sites to see how people feel about their company. That would have helped me when I was deciding what job to take. And that the biggest lesson she did learn was looking for something that you would be interested in, but also something that you would help you in your life and not put way too much stress in your life, and that there's no point in going on to work and going home and being miserable. And now she works at Starbucks. That's a 20-minute walk from her house. That does have 100% tuition coverage if you go to their online schooling, and that she's calling their office later for more information on what options that they have for you. And honestly, I feel like a lot of people were able to find better career paths for themselves, and were able to get better in a better situation mentally, physically, emotionally, and everything. We're able to self-reflect and help them out. If you like this video, give this video a thumbs up and make sure to hit the subscribe button.